Hey, there she go. There she
Hello.
goes. How you doing today, Jasmine?
How are you? Your smile makes me much better right away.
Thank you. That's good.
Yes,
Ah,
yes, it's good. And we can still
we can
smile.
still
That's very important.
smile. We can still smile. I mean, the fact that I can still smile is a good thing. I really, what I mean, it's just I've learned that in this life you have to be able to laugh and smile through it all. I mean, nothing wrong. You got to shed tears too, but you can't always be,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know.
Yes, yes. So how was the week for you? Did you find it okay?
I got it pretty okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I have to say it was lighter than last week or the previous
yeah,
weeks. And after our show last week, I mean, people I spoke to who know me or follow me were saying, well, it was good to have that information ahead of time, so you know how to process, it'll come to mind saying, oh yeah, this is an easy day. I was telling a friend about Monday is going to be a pretty easy flow, and how things will progress that later on. So it's like it's a weather report. You know that we still have to
yes.
actually go through each day, but you sort of know, like, oh man, I better bring my umbrella with me, or bring a jacket with me, because it may be a little harsher or something. And
Well, we have good
we have good
news. I mean, I
news.
have good news. Is that this weekend is also going to be a good weekend.
Oh,
Is that
good.
like last weekend was very intense and everything. It was still lots of
The
changes, but
weekend,
this
the weekend
weekend,
was intense. The
yes,
weekend was intense last
yeah,
weekend. You're
yeah.
right.
But this weekend, I'm actually looking forward, and I think it's one of those. I think this is the first weekend we can say, like, oh, look, the spring is here, something is happening. It's a little bit positive energy. So I like this weekend. Yeah, so that's a good news. I just want to start with some good news.
Good. No, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Today is crazy. I don't know. I was actually very productive. I was trying to focus and just be on a positive side. I was very productive. But today, so many things are going
Really?
on. Even as we speak, still we are applying. Some aspects are applying. So during the night, we had Mercury retrograde conjunct the North Node. Then we had Sun sextile Pallas Athena. It's a good strategic thinking thing. Then we had Saturn sextile Uranus. So it's like a big cycle. You know how these outer planets have big cycles, and we always look at conjunctions and squares and oppositions. But then we have a trines and sextiles as well that are actually good.
Right.
So this Saturn Uranus sextile today is from the conjunctions of 1988. That's
Wow.
how, so it's still coming from that thing. So it's like a more of on a closure kind of a side.
I
But it's
see.
it's always about, you remember what happened in the late 80s? We had the Berlin Wall fell down, the Soviet Union fell apart, also like ex-Yugoslavia, where I come from. There's a lot of things were happening. So the boundaries were dissolved as well, and there was shocking, things. So it's interesting to see that now I think we're also in that kind of a stage that we are going to have boundaries reshuffle, and we'll see how this goes. But today that was kind of a positive aspect today. Also, Mars is going to sextile Uranus as well around 7 p.m. So in an hour and a half. It's very exciting. It's one of those things that we are bold. We want to do something different. But this is in Cancer and Taurus. So I always feel this is very productive, fertile energy. Like it's very tangible, water and
Yeah.
earth, and when this is action oriented. So maybe we want to do something. Like, what are we have in our lives that we are working on that is exciting and new, and we want to pursue that stuff, so we can do work on that.
And bring it
And
into
Mars,
and bring it into physical. Bring it
yes,
into the physical, perhaps. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And Mars is going to trine Saturn. So Mars, Saturn,
Ooh.
people say, oh, two malefics, whatever. But they're in a good position. They're in trine. They're both in water. They're softer.
They are
They're not
softer.
comfortable.
Yes.
They're not
Okay.
comfortable in their place. So it's it gives us a self-discipline and self-focus, but we are driven by emotions. So we are still, it's a lot of it's not that harsh. It's very soft. Venus is still in Pisces. Mercury is in Pisces. So the energies is soft. There is no earth in the sky except Uranus. So
Oh.
not a lot of grounding energy. So it's very soft, very driven by our mood, how we are feeling, that's how we are
Okay.
acting according to our
Yeah.
mood. So that's the feeling in general, right? But it's also a first quarter moon after the new moon we had after the eclipse. So it's like very, it's action oriented,
Uh-oh,
means very.
invitations are going out? Is this invitations going out?
Yes, this is the invitations are going out. There you go. See, I love how you love that.
I love that. No, I really love
Me
that. Because,
too. Me
it
too.
reminds me to invite those things in my life, or, you know what I mean? And people and experiences and stuff that okay, send invitations out,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. So it's very
Yeah.
good to send emails, to contact people, have some agreements, and see what's happening. I was actually really productive to, to finalize some things, some deal, who I'm going to talk to next, who's coming to my channel, stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
it's,
yes.
so it's very, very good. So
Okay.
that's today. But it's also coming up to this weekend, so it's kind of still, we're going to feel the flow of that energy during the weekend, so we can still do. Oh, if you didn't do the vision board, I forgot to mention that last week, and I think it's very important. I have to finish up mine this weekend. So for every new moon in Aries each year, because it's a new moon in Aries in the first sign of the zodiac, and it's astrological new year around that time, I always do a vision board for the year ahead, and it's based on like feng shui, those nine
Bob,
nine.
Gua?
Yes, that's excellent. Thank you for your help. And then you kind of you put pictures or affirmations or something that is related to each segment of your life. And I always and I look at it every day. So it's right there in a corner, and I always look at it. To remind me of my mission, what do I want to achieve this year. It's kind of so it's still a good day if you didn't start it, to finish up this weekend, or start tonight actually. And I did cut some things out, but I need to kind of put it in place. And my husband does it virtually, so people do it virtually and put it as a screensaver, which is also a good reminder. Every time you open a computer each day, you can see it,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you don't have to. But I'm an old
Yeah.
school girl. I like to.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I got my magazine, so I was cutting it last weekend. So I have to finish it up. So that's one of the things you can do for this is, working on your new start for the new year and the new vision that you have. And because it's a lot of Piscean energy and water, you can really get in tune with, what really is inside
Yes,
you, what your intuition is telling
yes.
you.
Right.
Right. Yeah, like be creative, think outside of the box. There's lots of stuff that you can think of. So that's very good. Moon is in Cancer today and tomorrow all day. So Moon in Cancer loves food, loves family, loves cozy. So also if you want to spend some time with loved ones or friends, many friends for me are my family, so I always like to connect with my friends as well. And just do something nice, home cooked meal, stuff like that. So it's like more of a family day Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because Sun is also making some lovely aspects with
Ooh.
many planets. It's just going to
Oh,
conjunct. It's going to conjunct Mars. So that can be a little bit of agitating just for a couple of hours in the afternoon, but all the rest, because it's trining all this Piscean energy. Cancer. It's all water
yeah.
trine, so it's very go with the flow,
Flowing,
easy.
very
It's fun.
flowing, and
Yeah,
yes, a lot of dissolving and softening and movement. Okay. The
yeah,
water movement. Yes.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Got
So I
it.
like this. I like the Saturday. On Sunday we have Moon in Leo already,
Oh,
and we have Sun sextile Jupiter. So when Jupiter and Sun come together, those are the best days of the
and
year. We always
when is
like this.
that? Sun
Sunday.
sextile one? Sunday.
Uh, that Sun sextile Jupiter. Sun in Aries, making this a lovely aspect with Jupiter in Gemini, and on Sunday we also have Mars trine Venus, the lovers aspect. So I think with the Moon in Leo, we can be a little bit. We can do something fun and entertaining, um, and we have. It's about expanding. Doing something. It's a very good optimistic day, even if you want to do something that it's meaningful for us as well. It's a fun day.
Okay.
I think we're gonna feel good. We're gonna feel like good. So
So now, I'm sorry, go over that one again. That was Mars trine what?
Venus,
Venus. Oh wow, that could be very lovey-dovey,
potent,
heavy-duty, sexy paramour.
potent.
That's
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Venus is in a good place. She's in Pisces. She loves to be in Pisces. Mars is
Pisces.
not so comfortable in Cancer. So I kind of
Mhm.
in this tug of war, I think Venus wins.
Okay, yes. Yes. Venus would
Okay.
outplay everyone. Venus would, yes. And
Yes.
love and war, love win. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a good date for it. The whole day, just it's a lovely day. So a lovely weekend. So whatever you do, try to have some fun, to relax, um, and to enjoy yourself. And don't stress. Be creative. Go dancing. Go listen to the music. Go do something fun. Whatever. Just you know, stress yourself about worries in the world, about what I have to do. Forget about obligations at the moment. Just relax. Have this weekend. Spring is here.
Yes.
Better is better. You know.
Spring
Um,
is here. Yes.
right. So that's it. Because on Monday we're gonna have Venus conjunct Saturn and Mercury stations to go direct finally on Monday.
Hmm.
And Mars is not out of bounds anymore from Monday
Oh,
onwards. So we have
okay.
double whammy good. So this is also good. I know Venus and Saturn together. It can be sometimes we can feel not worthy,
Mm.
or just have low self-esteem, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But because it's in Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know because there's some lovely aspects with the Mars, both of them. So I think it's not going to be that bad as
Okay.
usual.
Okay.
I that this conjunctions might be softer, and then we just might feel mm, maybe disconnected from some
Mm.
people because it's in Pisces. We are kind of escaping from some situations and or people or stuff.
Okay.
So. Um, maybe
Okay.
maybe we're gonna feel lost, or that you lost somebody or feeling that you want. So just go and reach out to that person if you're missing them. That can be some kind of a thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, got it. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It can be a little bit tough, but at this time, it's still Moon in Leo, and Moon in Leo is such a good moon on Monday. It's making lovely aspects, so I think this will kind of help us to be in a more joyful and mood. So,
Good.
um,
I think this
uh,
is good to have this post because we to me we're coming out, Jasmine, of a very intense
yeah,
developmental period. I'll put it that way.
yes,
um, so I think to have this energy now a little softer,
yes,
not so confusing, but and still flowing. I think will go a long way to keeping us in focused on what we're trying to still manifest and bring in, and while we still feel secure enough to release things, also,
yes,
like we
because we need
mentioned last
space.
week, getting back into alignment. I think a lot of that struck a chord with people, Jasmina, getting back into alignment. Because I was using an example of uh, an old car or car gets hit in an accident. Nothing serious, but the car is still working. But because it's been hit, it's out of alignment. So it's not going to, it needs to be realigned for it to move better or the way it should move as opposed to just moving, that kind of thing. And I love that only because I see that what we've all experienced since January, I think has been a sense of us being in that car driving and, and being broadsided and still moving, but we're not quite in alignment.
Yes, I do feel that the April first half or even first two-thirds of the month is pretty okay. The
Right.
last 10 days are hard, so we kind of need to use them well. With all this
Yeah.
Piscean energy, Venus in Pisces is very artistic, very creative. Moon in Leo on Monday, very creative moon. So you can use Sunday, Monday to really do something from that your heart desires, right? Venus is about our desires. Moon in Leo wants to, it's about our heart. So it's just literally combining those two. What your heart desires, do that, and have
Okay.
some nice things. To do something
Yeah.
nice. Yes, this Saturn is coexisting here, but it can just give you some discipline or some focus to actually do things, or
Right.
to take it maybe more
Yes.
seriously and make them more tangible, as you said, right? So maybe it's a
Okay.
little more grounding energy. Not really, it's in Pisces, but a little bit. Just
Yeah.
like a sprinkle of it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that's Monday. Tuesday is also exciting day. Moon is now in Virgo. She's going to go into Virgo in the morning. But just before that, during the night, Venus and Uranus are going to make a sextile. So that's very exciting. You know, it's about adventure, and it's an opportunity to you know, to be unique, to do, you know, to do something different that you never did, like very adventurous and exciting things. Okay, so that's an invitation as well. With this combination, because Uranus is in Taurus, we might spend more money on the things that we like, because Venus in Pisces doesn't have boundaries, remember? So if she likes something or she just wants it, you know, and then with Uranus there, he can, you know, give us a push. Who cares? You know, who cares? Just, you know,
I see. Okay.
so we can
Who
have
cares?
unexpected budget expenses, let's say, or financial. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only downside of this, but it can be something fun. Usually when Venus and Uranus go together, even in a natal chart, when you see that, you know, those people really want, they're like different types of relationships. They're not conventional. They're different. They're unique. They wanna, and they're showing it. So that's kind of a feeling we're gonna have, like, you know, where, right?
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like
That could be nice. That could be a little bit juicy. It feels a little bit exciting and something that's unknown but still pleasant or welcome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So that's and yeah, and then Moon is in Virgo on Tuesday and Wednesday. On Wednesday, the Moon is just going to square Jupiter in the evening, but overall, even nothing else is happening major on Wednesday. So it's kind of a good day. Like Moon in Virgo, she's very practical. She likes to do things. So if you have some chores to do, just do them and don't think about it too much. Just everyday stuff, paperwork. I know we have to file taxes here, so I have to kind of work on. I still didn't do mine, so anyway, stuff like that. Prepare paperwork for taxes or stuff.
Yes.
Stuff like that. That's Virgo. Clean up cupboards, or, you know, spring cleaning.
Yes.
Very good. I think Virgo is very good for spring cleaning, or just I usually like to go over the fridge, you know, clean the fridge, see what's, and then, you know, the cupboards in the pantry, and see what's outdated, to see what, you know, stuff like that.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. I'm cleaning my refrigerator. Yep.
Yeah. So I always like to use Moon in Virgo, especially in the spring. Kind of, okay. Pantry can have some outdated things because you buy. They have a little of this, little of that, and then what's happening? You know, you just throw it somewhere. At the end, look, you know, you find those things anyway. So that's Wednesday. Thursday. When does Moon goes to Leo? Oh yeah, it's the whole day. Moon is still in Virgo, but she's gonna go into Libra around 9 p.m. She's gonna be void for five and a half hours. So Thursday afternoon Eastern time, it's a void moon. So just continue what you're doing. You can continue with spring cleaning.
Perfect for that. Yes, that's perfect for void moon. Yeah, that's good void moon stuff.
Right. Yeah, and then you're gonna have Mercury now direct again, seeing the node. So we had last night, Mercury with the North Node while Mercury was retrograde, and then they're going to meet again in a few days because Mercury goes direct on Monday. So this is very unusual to have this conjunction between Mercury and North Node for this long. Once retrograde, once direct in such a short period. It's very rare. So what does that tell me? This is about because it's about where we are heading. North Node is, you know, kind of our purpose and where we are heading. And Mercury is about information that we are taking with us. So what are we taking with us? What is the message we want to convey with the world?
I see. Okay.
Right? What did we have to release? Again, Mercury is in Pisces, so it's very connected with our beliefs. You know, so, you know, do our beliefs impact our thinking process, and are we influenced?
Yes.
And, you know,
the answer is yes, usually.
Yes. So
we may not know,
but how?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but how much? You know, how much emphasis do we put on it? And is this the drive you want to go anyway? So there's a thing that might be some kind of situations. You can also hear some news that are going to be important for us in the future, like some faded news, some kind of you can hear some news, or you can get when Mercury is involved, especially retrograde direct, such a short period, it can be something very important. Right?
Okay.
I was going to say something else. Yeah. So Mercury is in Pisces and Jupiter is in Gemini. So they're in a mutual reception. So that means they're helping each other out. So maybe there's a sense of expansion of a lot of ideas, of a lot of things happening, and we might need to let some of them out or go. Also, Jupiter is about, that's why I said Jupiter is about belief system, right? So that's why I said, I think this is very much connected. How are we going to head it forward? Which beliefs are we taking forward? What is the message we want to bring in the future? And, when Mercury goes into Aries, he's just going to shout it out. So now while he's still in...
Oh, that's so funny. When you said Mercury into Aries is going to be what we call blurt it out.
Yes.
It's going to be outbursts and
Yes.
blurting. Yes, thank you for that. Mercury in Aries. That's a very good sentence with Mercury in Aries. That's yeah.
So we can use this week. Yeah, so we can use this week to kind of figure it out on a more it's intuition. Like this is the Mercury rule. Like it's kind of led by intuition, by inner voice. So listen to that. So it's very interesting. It's about spirituality as well, a belief system, and it's a softer. So this whole week has this notion of very, very interesting situation. Mercury in Pisces is also very creative. It's about creative writing, for example. So it's like, so if you're writing a book, or if you're writing anything, a blog, whatever, you can be very in tuned of it's like a softer way of saying the message. Like the words we choose are softer, more kinder, more compassionate.
Have emotional underpinning, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, probably help you. Yes.
Yeah. So
nice.
So just,
okay.
It sounds. Many people with Mercury in Pisces, they have this soft voice.
Okay.
Like even seductive a little bit. How they talk soft.
Okay. I see. Okay.
I always think about those ladies on hotlines. How they go.
Yes.
So you can sound like that. It's very seductive. How Pisces is very romantic, or like it's very soft. So it's very even hypnotic. Hypnotic.
Yes, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
That's
right. So we can be.
That's the right word. Yeah.
I truly enjoy it. Just pay attention if you meet somebody who has Mercury and they have Mercury in Pisces, how they talk. It's very.
They can. Yes.
Right. It's very like that. So this whole week is going to have that little flavor. Yeah. Little flavor of that, especially because on Thursday the moon is going into Libra, and moon in Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is still also in Pisces. So we're going to have this whole kind of romantic feeling, like out of this place. Like it's very because nothing hard is happening. Eclipses are behind us, and all this stuff, and Mercury is not going forward, and Mars is not out of bounds anymore. So I just feel that this week is going to kind of bring us more calm, maybe more softness, more just like it's a break after a hard. How you have a hard time and you have just a break. So kind of need it, like a soft.
Right? Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good timing, because we'll be getting close to we have those plans going direct, but still in the shadow. We've had a drubbing from so many things, and that this could be nice to have a little bit of stuff more in the love space, in the heart space too, and gentle,
Yes.
a little gentleness, try, that song, try a little tenderness. We could have a little bit more tenderness perhaps here.
Yes. I like that. Oh, yes. Especially, it's the whole, I feel the vibes are coming. It's the whole week is like that until the full moon Saturday. Yes.
Okay.
I like this week. I like this week, to be honest. The only downside is kind of Venus and Saturn together, but
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't feel
What
it
could
as much as
that mean? Tell us about Venus. Tell us about the the full range of Venus and Saturn together. What could that
okay.
look like? High and low and
I have
medium.
yeah, I have some notes. I'm gonna just right away. I don't want. I want to give you the full because I always have notes with me somewhere. So let me write my notes on everything. You know how many books I have, JeMaja, and
Oh, I
I
could only
just write
imagine.
everything,
I could
and I
imagine. Yeah,
write.
being a Gemini, and I could I don't have to imagine. I don't have to. I know how many books I've given away and then bought some more books and oh.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you everything. Okay, let's talk
Tell
about
you
Venus and Saturn. I
everything.
like it. Let's have a little bit of lecture on Venus and
Yes.
Saturn. So, uh,
Yes.
uh, so these people are, if you have it in a natal chart, they're born old and they get younger as they grow older. So usually when you have Saturn close to any personal planet with Moon or Sun or Venus or Mercury, you kind of feel that sense, right? It's people that take life seriously
Yes.
way too much until they realize what is this to be
Right.
serious about, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the sense. So we might feel maybe more serious than usual. Um, it's also it can be very concerned about money matters and relationships because Saturn wants responsibility, and then we feel that we need to be responsible with our finances and with others and stuff. But then it's in Pisces. There's no boundaries, so it's very confusing. Also at the same time, this time,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So okay. Um, Conjunctions is so when they conjunct, it's usually about money, values, and our self-worth. Okay, so that's the downside. We can really feel a low self-worth, low self, just not feeling valuable, not feeling appreciated in that sense, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that can be a lower side of it. And the thing is, with this placement, you're taking, people who have this placement, if it's a good position with other planets, they can really be good with money. Like they know they're not overspending. They are, they have the boundaries of how they spend it. But sometimes they feel that they don't have enough for all that they want. So they have their needs satisfied. Like those people, So let's say that we have all that we need and we can afford it, but then we can't maybe afford what we want,
I see.
which is
Okay.
usually something luxurious or something that we don't really need. Like
Yes.
we need food and shelter, but we
Right.
want something. I want to
Okay.
travel.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanna, get to that course. I wanna buy that book. Do I need it to survive?
No,
No.
right.
So it's like,
Yes, exactly.
like
That's true. Now, someone wrote in here, even square. My moon, wake up app says my moon squares Saturn and also Saturn conjunct Neptune.
yeah, moon square Saturn can also be, they can be very harsh to
Yeah,
themselves. They're the most harsh to themselves because
I
they
would think
feel,
so.
yeah,
Yeah,
because they take everything serious, right? But with Saturn conjunct Neptune, that means that it's also dissolving in a way.
right.
So I
Eighth makes the
guess,
Neptune dissolve. It's a
right?
dissolving thing, right?
So
Yes.
that means that Neptune is also square the moon, which is kind of, so there's a way of escaping from harsh reality, let's say, of being
Yeah.
harsh to yourself. Maybe you can, it's very important to balance it out because you can be too harsh to yourself and then all of a sudden you can just escape from it all and and don't even realize and don't face reality at the same time. I know it's confusing, but you can go from lows and from one extreme to
Extreme
the
to
other.
another. I got
Yeah,
it. No, yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because I've lived it. But yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with Venus Saturn, it's very important that we live within our own boundaries and that are not pushed by the others. So that's also a
Hey,
good,
Neptune.
Saturn always wants us to take responsibility for ourselves, and the way he does it is by testing us.
Oh, oh,
That's why to master something, you have to pass all of these tests,
yes.
right?
Yes
And
and yes.
yeah, so he's always testing us. So if we go to in the frustration and self-doubt, then we are losing. We didn't pass the exam. But if we embrace Saturn and said, okay, I'll go through this. Now it's hard, but then he rewards you at the end. Oh, this is my best student. They,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
especially in Pisces, you have to sacrifice something to gain
Right.
something.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much that is one of the universal laws actually that that people try to ignore, but to get something, you have to give something. There is a flow. It's an offering, whatever you want to call it, sacrifice, whatever. The universe is saying, okay, so you want this, good. So what are you going to get? You know what I mean? What do you want to give for that? What do you want to let go of? So you have some room for me to install this, and so
Yes.
on. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically, it can also be, we might not be happy with our relationships. It's just because we take everything too seriously a notch, so we kind of need to find to relax. That's Venus, Saturn, taking everything too
too seriously in
seriously.
a relationship. So in other words,
Yeah.
our expectations
Yes.
won't be because they're too high or not realistic.
Yes.
So we're projecting
Yes.
false expectations on our partners, but we don't want
Yes.
them. Then conversely, it's putting those on us.
Yes.
I see.
It, this is in a natal chart. It's much harder when all the Saturn um, hard aspects are much harder when you're young, up
Yeah.
to 30, 40. After 40, when you kind of know Saturn, and if you embrace his energy, then Saturn is your friend.
Absolutely. Now I can attest to that. Saturn really gave me the beat down. I'd say from the first Saturn return
Oh yes.
until about, I'd say, 47, 45, whatever.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
started doing some work on Saturn. Luckily, that astrologer told me that, Saturn's my ruler anyhow, so my chart ruler.
Yeah.
So it's nice, nice to really just sort of like have it out for Saturn because I felt Saturn had it out for me. And they said, no, Saturn's just trying to help you and teach
Yeah.
you those areas that you need some instruction and that will benefit you in the long run. And then when I
Yeah.
turned around and said, okay, Saturn, I'm willing to work with you. What do you want me to do? Let's go over it together. And then you're right, and things changed. My approach changed, and Saturn was like, no, you're doing good here, but we need you to work on this. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So it's very important that we have our own
Yeah.
boundaries. That's the most important thing. So
Yeah.
if Saturn is also authority and something pushed on us, it's
Yes.
our parents, then
Right.
teachers, then if we are religious, whoever our religious people are,
Yeah.
they, and then you go into work,
Yep.
managers at work, and
Oh,
then you always get, and if you let them just govern you instead of you govern yourself, then it's
yes.
not good. Then you're always going to be frustrated,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of think,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
look, this is who I am. This is what I can do. Stop. No, or whatever, right? But it's how we learn. That's why it's hard when we are younger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, in general, this conjunction, because it's in Pisces, I think it's not going to be that harsh. We might just escape from it all and have some fun. Moon is in Leo, so we're also going to be influenced by this moon on Monday. And Moon in Leo just wants to have fun and have fun, joy, and those things from
Good.
the heart. Just you can take some of your projects seriously. For example, if you have something creative or doing something, just take it not seriously and use that Saturn in a good way, so he doesn't get mad,
Yes.
and just and
Yes.
then
Right. Yeah.
that's it. And that's it, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
nothing ticks off Saturn other than if it thinks that you're not taking it seriously, and not so much seriously, but if you're not getting the lesson, you
Yeah,
know what I mean. Just if you're not receiving the information, if you just try to say, go away.
I'll give
Mm,
yeah, I'll give you my example because I have Saturn Mars conjunction. Like
oh,
they're just few minutes apart. It's very strong in my chart. So
okay.
learning, like Mars wants to just do it, and Saturn goes, no, not now. And another
Yeah.
wall, another wall. I was so frustrated as growing up.
Mm,
So like everything I wanted to do, there's always something you can't. Okay, now this circumstances or this
yes.
circumstances or
Okay.
this is not. And then you kind of, because it's in Leo,
Oh,
so you want to feel
yes.
special. And I always felt I never, everybody, oh, look at that, there, everybody's so special, not me. Or, everybody's so good and not me. Like you have such a low confidence of just low confidence, literally, with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh,
Very good.
and then instead of focusing on others and what others have, instead to focus on myself. It took me for so long to understand that. Forget about others, because I was always, Leo,
Mm. Yeah. No.
looking
Same
at
thing
others,
here. Same thing
right?
here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just forget about it and focus on yourself. And the best thing with Saturn is compare your progress, where you were 10, 20 years ago, where you're now. Don't
Yes.
compare with others.
No.
That's 100%
Yeah.
important for Saturn.
Yes.
Did you
Absolutely.
Did you make a progress? You did. Excellent, great job. Saturn is happy. You know, um, it's sometimes you want to go easy way. You think, oh, look how they have it easy. They don't have to do anything. They have everything. Do they? Do we know these people? You know, when you're young, you don't think about it. You just look. You just superficially look at what's happening. So focus on yourself. That's number one. It's hard. It's harder now than before because we have the social media. We
Right.
have all this news.
Ugh.
Right? We have all this. Even you're growing up, you're
Yeah.
confused. You don't know what's happening. You're learning about life. You're learning. There's so many contradictories. Blah blah
Right.
blah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So just explore. I would still recommend, if it's possible, to. I know we have to. You know, sometimes we are forced to make money to survive, and we can't be free to do whatever we want. But until the Saturn return, explore life. I would. You don't have to commit. That's the thing. That's the problem. We are expected to commit from the 18, like after high school. What do you want to study? This is going to be a profession
Yes,
for the
sure.
whole life. Like, I
Yes.
don't know.
I don't know. We
I
haven't been
didn't know what.
exposed enough yet. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know
Right.
what I was. I should have just traveled for 2-3 years to see what's going
Yeah.
on, and I didn't. And then that's the thing. The ways. So I hope that society will give people more chance to explore the world, to actually figure out what do we want. Yes,
Yes.
being responsible for
Yeah.
ourselves, yes, but still. Anyway, life. I went too serious with this Saturn, but
No, that's
uh,
very not at all. Don't think that.
yeah,
This is very good information about Saturn because Saturn is a
yeah,
planet that I think everyone sort of fears whether they admit it or not, but it's also a very misunderstood planet for what it has to
yeah,
offer. Because it is the the one that lays down the law and here's the rules and here's how we got to do this. So it's viewed as the administrator or that kind of
yeah,
energy that we
yes,
don't like, but it has its value. I always tell people that we do need Saturn because it gives us structure and it gives us, whether we like it or not, it gives us a structure that we can actually change or adapt. But we got to have something to start with,
yeah.
to get us to actually get to mastery. You can't get to mastery being amorphous, right?
Exactly. When people say, "Oh, lucky her! Look how she has everything," and people don't see how that person worked hard to be
Right.
there.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
It's hard work, guys. Like when you see, oh, this person or that person. Many success stories are about trying and failing many times before they succeed,
Yeah.
and that's Saturn.
Yeah.
You're not giving up if you
No.
want to achieve something. You need to be persistent. Good,
And
right?
Saturn does actually, like you said, Saturn does reward those who finish their studies. Let me put it that way.
Yes,
You know what I mean? And try to take it also with a not necessarily you got to smile and laugh about it, but try to take it in stride, saying thanks Saturn, thank you for this
yeah,
lesson. And how did I do? Oh, I didn't. And then when you get feedback that's not perhaps what you wanted to hear, receive the feedback in the right way because it's still trying to help you get it. So next time, because Saturn will come back around and
oh
could be a
yeah.
little bit more harsh.
He comes every 7 years. He's touching you. Is it
Saturn's
the
like,
conjunction?
whoops.
Is it a opposition or a square? Every 7 years, Saturn is there to remind you. Knock, knock. What did you do
Yeah.
the last 7 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah. You gotta report to the head you gotta report to the home office and give your
Yes.
report,
Yeah. What did you see? What did
Yeah.
you do? Yeah, he doesn't like shortcuts, so no shortcuts.
No. Oh, that's true too. I forgot about that. Saturn does not like shortcuts or cheat sheets or hacking. No. Mm-mm.
No,
It
no.
wants you to learn it at,
Yeah,
at the level
yeah,
that it's offering at. Don't try to, and don't think you're getting away with it either, because you're not.
yeah,
Saturn doesn't,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So now we open something very interesting.
What?
Saturn is coming into Aries in May. So it's going to be a totally different flavor for the next 2.5 years, 3 years. He's
Okay.
going to go back to Pisces a little bit at the end of the year and then back into Aries. So what you imagine Aries is about who we are. Uh,
Hmm.
and, it's about being brave and bold and exploring and going somewhere that we've never been. And then Saturn comes. So I feel that if we didn't all this preparation that we have, all these things, all these eclipses in Libra and North Node in Aries that were happening in the last couple of years, and all this retrogrades now and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I think it's preparing us that when Saturn goes to Aries, if we don't know who we are by then, and if we don't know who authentic, and what we want, and where we're going,
Yes.
he is not gonna like it.
No,
That's
yeah,
what I think.
that's a nice way of putting it. That's a nice way. He's not gonna like you. He's gonna
Yeah.
be like, we have been through this before. Now,
Yes.
why are you still because typically the reason why this is happening is we've been resistant to not hearing, seeing or any of the clay or whatever
Yeah.
of about what Saturn's been trying to show you, and we willfully said, mm-mm, I don't
Yeah.
hear you. I can't figure that. And Saturn's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be
Saturn's no
interesting.
play. Saturn's one of those no play planets.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting.
It can
Oh
be.
yes, I know. Last week you told me to prepare something for Neptune in
We
Aries.
got time
But
for that
I
next week. No,
I didn't do much,
no.
to be honest. I don't know. This Neptune is escaping me in a
Yeah,
true
yeah.
Neptunian fashion.
I know. I did some on it, but to me, I did some work on it earlier this week, but I got the impression that we got time for that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be there until 20. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got it's still
Yeah.
moving in, so it's
Yeah.
not quite even. I mean, it's in, but it's still making its way through. We got
Yeah.
I, I
I'm kind
what
of
you
excited. I'm
yeah
excited, to be
yeah
honest, because Neptune in Pisces, it was, he was really uh, out there, right? He
yeah
wasn't
mhm,
present. Like you had
mhm.
to, you really needed to tap into the Neptunian energy. Last 14
Diana
years, they were in Pisces. It was, if you didn't tap into it, you kind of lost it. You didn't,
yeah
uh,
yeah
he could be
yes
anything. In the last 15 years, he could be anything, but
yes
he can't be anything now. And I think in Aries, he's gonna show his teeth somehow. I don't know what are the. That's why I can't grasp the Neptunian teeth at the moment. What is that? But he can also dissolve Aries energy
right
in a way. So we have Saturn putting a structure to our Aries energy, and then we have a Neptune dissolving. It's going to be very interesting.
No, I agree.
Very
And
interesting.
yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up to you today. I said, nah, I didn't even put it in the right. I said, nah, it didn't feel like it was right
Yeah.
now to do that. It's such a big thing that we're still actually still processing the eclipses and the retrogrades and some of the other things coming up. So we got time
Yeah.
to actually deep dive over time with the Neptune and
Uh, uh,
Aries. It's
the fun fact of Neptune in Aries, we can just talk about something
mhm.
fun. I had a conversation with British astrologer Israel. I think it's somewhere on my YouTube channel,
Yeah,
and he was talking. I asked him, but I was wondering because Neptune is about glamour and Hollywood usually, right? So I was just talking to him, what changes can we see in that sense, right? What is
mhm.
in the moons? So it's like it's going to be a revival of an action hero actually,
Hmm.
because Aries is about heroes and action, and
Yes,
Neptune is so we're going to see a revival of action heroes
yeah.
in
And
um,
that makes sense because we're feeling as people and as countries we're feeling threatened, so we're looking
yeah.
for an action hero to help save us and help lead the charge against the bad guys. Yeah, that makes sense.
But the thing I think because it's in Aries and we had all this preparation, I think we're going to realize that we are the heroes of our own
We
life.
are our own spiritual heroes, right? And I think that's will this heroine or heroes will show us that. Will say I could come, like there's an old TV show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this Captain Planet or
Captain
whatever, and he would say,
America,
Captain
oh,
America,
Captain
something like
Planet.
the power is yours. And he would always say
Uh,
the power. He would come. They would put it together to call him when the Earth was in danger, and he would come together and say, "But the power is yours." And I would say, "Wow, I never." No, this came out again. I
see,
was in my teens, I guess, when this came out. I didn't really watch it, but it would always come on. I watch cartoons to this day, and they would play that in the morning when I was getting ready for work. I said, "Wow, that's interesting that he would always say the power is yours. Yes, I'm coming together as a representation of it, but remember, I'm going to lead you, but you all have your roles to do because you are your own heroes." And I was like, ah,
yes. This reminds me. I need to prepare. I'm going to prepare that. I don't know. Did you hear? I probably did hear about the hero's journey. I think
yeah,
that astrologer Campbell. What was his name?
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell. hero, the hero of the journey of the hero's journey,
Yes.
and how we go through how it all starts and where it goes. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna prepare that video and we can
Oh,
talk
that
about it because I think
would
that's
be good. That
necessary.
would be good. That's
Yes,
excellent because even Dan Millman, I mean, Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, all these are heroes'
yes,
journey stories, um, and
and
that
yes,
that
that's a
we're
great point.
that we're all embarking on. The Celestine Prophecy are all stories about individuals who were seekers and then realized the roles we each had in being a hero for what we want to see come together.
Yes, so we have, yeah, excellent. So we need to tune in into those hero stories and how we can be a hero. Like we don't need to, we don't need to wait for somebody else to save us. Or I know this is contradictory with all the religions, but
Yeah.
I feel that I think this is the time. I think this is the new world, new era. This is just the beginning of this sense that we are the heroes of our journey of our lives, and we
Yeah.
can change our
Hmm.
lives.
Hmm. But
So
that's probably because religion was not wrong in what it's and how it served in its time. Religion
yeah, no, no, no.
had a service. I mean, also people couldn't read and write, so it did tell you
Yes,
things. Maybe they told you
absolutely.
whatever. But now they're saying we've grown up, so now you need to do. You don't necessarily need a mediator to talk to God or to connect with the divine. It doesn't hurt to have one to help you get there and reconnect with it. That's what religion stands for in Latin is re ligare, to re-ligament, reconnect. So
Yes,
now we're reconnecting, and so I think
I like that.
this new journey, the hero's journey, is typically is how we can reconnect in our own way, and it's gonna be so unique.
Yeah,
And to
yeah.
have the faith and confidence that the way you're doing it, there's no right or wrong, there's no book, no no pamphlet for it. It's just get it done, do
Yeah,
it, get
yeah.
on the path.
That, that is why I think this is also a way to strengthen our intuition, right?
It is
Neptune intuition,
absolutely
like this
yes.
is also a journey of how to again relearn, remember how to
Hmm.
listen to ourselves
Yeah.
again. That's the journey
Yes.
as well. Huge
Right.
journey.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
inquire within.
yeah,
Actually sit still for a minute and ask yourself because you're typically many of us have an inside voice that's screaming to say, listen to me, hear me,
yes,
you
of
know,
course.
and we sometimes we hear, but then we doubt it and say, well, that can't be right. I mean, well, let me ask it, check and see if Jasmina agrees or this one agrees. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And
No,
then,
no,
but
no.
but now also, if you listen to that inner voice, you will also find I have found sometimes where my outer voices, friends, Jasmine, and everyone else will say something that corroborates and supports
Yeah,
what I heard on the inside. So that's what's, I mean, I just had to start within first. And then on the outside, we'll say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Out of the clear blue, people will say things. And I was like,
yeah,
wow, how did you know that? That I was
yeah.
contemplating that.
That's the recipe. So talk to
Yes,
other people, learn, read books, but
yes,
then at the end, after you gather all this information intel, then you come with and you will know what's right for
yeah,
you, right?
yes,
But then you'll be more aware to make a better decision for yourself.
yeah,
I love getting learning from everybody and
yes.
understanding different perspectives. It just opens my mind and I love it. But at the end, if it doesn't feel right here, I'm not gonna
No,
do it.
no,
Every,
you won't.
every time every time I did it with not being right here, I paid a
Yes, yes.
huge
Oh,
price. Like not
please,
like, mm,
please. You're telling me.
yeah. See,
Yes, yes,
so
I do
exactly.
know. Yeah, and
Also,
because it feels that's what's also important, intuition, but also learning how to sense our
mm-hmm.
inner guidance because it expresses itself differently. So you'll feel you may hear a sound, a bell, you may feel a peacefulness, you may feel like a whatever. But I found mine comes in different ways, and it will let me know it's calm and easy, or makes a nice sound. And I realize, oh, okay, that's the way. And I will ask other ways to see so I can actually hear because you got to test yourself even. You got to learn. This is a language
Yeah,
and a skill, a
exactly. We need to
muscle. It's a
relearn.
muscle
Yeah,
that you have to learn how to
yeah,
use.
yeah. You need to
Um,
relearn it. Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
relearn,
yeah,
So depending on where you are on the scale of using your intuition,
yeah.
thankfully for me, my mother was, and my father always believed in my mother. She would have intuition or intuitive hits, and my father would always say, he called my mother Angel. So he said, Angel, what do you think? You know what I mean? And she would say, I think someone's gonna be calling, and it's gonna be a female. I think this is gonna happen. And he would say, okay. He took her seriously.
Very good.
and stuff.
Very good.
So yeah, so she felt, so we all would be like, oh, what mommy saying now? What's going on? You know what I mean? And
I
stuff.
love
You
it.
know what I
I
mean?
love
But
it.
so it taught us all
Uh,
to, understand your own inner gut being. So that was, yeah. I
love
didn't know. I
that.
didn't realize how rare that was. Till I got older. People would say, well, till I watch TV. You know that show
Mhm.
Bewitched?
Yes.
Bewitched, yeah.
Yes.
But a lot of the old TV shows would mock intuition as a woman's thing.
I know.
Oh,
I
must be
know.
some
I
more you.
know.
And I would get, Jasmine as a young girl, I now understand why I would get so pissed off. And I didn't know why. It would just sort of tick me off, but I realized because it was that they were saying, they were diminishing it. And I
Mhm.
was like, no, but we all have it. Maybe women are more connecting to it because we have to keep our families alive and stuff. I know men are hunting and gathering, but we're cooking and taking care of. You know
But
what I mean?
they are, if you go to hunt, if you don't have your intuition, you're gonna get killed. You're
Yes.
gonna be, you're gonna be attacked by somebody.
Yes. Yes. That's
Actually, you
exactly
really,
right.
yeah, you need to have, and yes, technical
Yeah.
skills are always
Yes.
important for
Right.
everything you do. But if we don't have that little thing in our heads that tell us what to do, it's not gonna be good. So usually, when how I use it is when I need to make a decision.
Right.
If like some decision, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I was gonna say yeah, like for example, oh, I'm gonna say, and then something tells me, and then I just say no.
No.
Like it just comes
Yes.
to me into the
Yes.
decision making
Yeah.
process. I just know
Yeah.
what to
Yeah.
say. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Right.
Like
No,
it
it is. Sometimes it's hard to
comes
put
to
in
me.
words.
I
Yeah.
can't
Mm-hmm.
put it in words. It
Mm-mm.
just it
Mm-mm.
comes to me.
Right.
Yes or no, and then I kind of, even when I go shopping,
Yeah.
oh, do I like this shirt? No,
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
something kind of, I don't know. I'm
No,
practicing
I
when
do
decision
get you.
making.
You don't have to
So
know in the sense of left brain
yes,
structure, but you can know in the right
yeah,
brain sense of this
yeah,
doesn't feel right or whatever,
yeah.
and that's fine. You know
Even
what I
if,
mean?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a good price, even if it's a good look on me, but if it's something, I don't know. Anyway, so
Yeah.
that's very
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. No, it is.
Uh,
Yeah. It is. It is. And stuff, and I enjoy even talking to people about, like you and I having this conversation now, because it sort of helps you realize, oh yeah, and how that's an inner gift. We all have clairs, Clair. We all have certain inner gifts and unique spiritual gifts that we have, that lie dormant. We
mhm,
have them. We just need to awaken them. Some of us are using them now, but we need to sharpen them. Whatever it is, but it's like respect, like someone mentioned about the heroes. It's because they're awakening our inner dormant powers and
yeah,
abilities that are lying, that we just sort of we pushed aside because, oh,
yes.
this, what I mean, we pushed aside because the church said so, whatever said it's not good, it's not valid, and now we're saying, you know what, you do your thing, but I think it's valid,
But isn't,
and
isn't,
it's
isn't
coming back.
it interesting
Yeah.
how, like, through our lives, we are always searching for that hero outside ourselves. When we
Yes.
are kids, we're looking at the movie, all these actresses.
Superman and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
even just you're idolizing
Yes.
your best this, oh, he's my hero, or then you're looking for to fall in love with somebody who's going to be your hero and save you. For then you're looking for like always kind of
Start
like,
there.
why, like
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
it's the way that we are brought up, like as a society, always look with hero with that, somewhere out there, this thing will save me, or this person, or
Yeah,
this,
no, I've been I've
it's very
been I've been
interesting.
disappointed repeatedly. So
Yes. So if you kind of figure out, I'm my own hero.
yeah.
But seriously, if
Yeah.
when you go back in your life, and if you went probably
Right.
through some death experience, somebody that you loved passed away. You went
Yes.
through
Oh,
breakups. You went through not
absolutely.
having money. Like all of us
Yeah.
had a situation
All
in
of us.
life,
Exactly.
but
Yes.
some
Yes.
of these illnesses or whatever,
Yeah.
and you rose up and you're still here standing and smiling after
Right.
all of that. You are a
Right.
hero. Isn't
Yes.
that isn't that
Yes.
heroic?
Yes. There's times I
Isn't
know when
that
I've spoken up and said things and done things. I realize I look back now saying, "Wow, look at you were pretty young when you did that." Or it's pretty, you know what I mean. But I realized
I
because the
know.
the, the situation opened up and someone had to step into the fray. And if I did, I was like, "Wow, okay," And I used to be shy when I was younger. People don't believe it, but as a young lady, I'm very young. People always laugh when I say that. People laugh because I
I
used to be.
don't believe
I
you.
know. I used to be very shy. You know what I mean? And then I realized there were times when I had to step up and speak up. to show up, and then I would speak. I didn't speak as clearly as I do now. I would stutter, wouldn't speak.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it was horrible because I couldn't get it going. You know what I mean? The feet, all that. But now it's yeah, because I had to use it over and over. I had to so it was practice and stuff. So, but okay.
yeah.
So now for this week, can you give us a nice anything that we should actually sort of like embrace for this week's energy as we move forward through the week?
I think it's a good week. So I really, so what we should embrace is our creative potential.
Yes,
Okay. Um, Absolutely, we should
I
use
agree. Wake up.
that. Yes. So, beautiful weekend.
Yes.
Sunday, Monday are great for creative endeavors, whatever, having fun. It's exciting. Like, as I said, the whole week looks good to me. I don't have any bad days.
Wow. Okay.
I don't
Good.
have any bad days. I only have good days and I have excellent days. And excellent days are the weekend in front of
Uh-huh.
us. And I would even say Monday, I know we're going to feel this. So Mercury is stationed to go direct. So we might feel mercurial things,
Oh yeah.
this
But think when
weekend.
planet station, that's when
Yes,
their influence can be more
yes,
profound.
yes. And I want to share, okay, thank you for reminding me. I want to share this. I heard this on LSA. Frank shared, this is Kim Farley's. She's one of the teachers in his school. She's an astrologer from the UK, Kim Farley, and this is what she says about stations, and I think it's beautiful.
Oh.
So imagine you have a candle, that it's lit candle, and your hand, so direct, retrograde, direct, retrograde. So you kind of feel it, the heat, but not much.
Right.
But when it stations, imagine your hand stands
Station.
on top of that,
Oh
on
yes.
that
Got it.
fire. It
Yes.
hurts.
That
You're
does
gonna
hurt.
feel it, and you're
Yes.
gonna feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the station.
Ah.
So we're gonna have Mercury stationing. So we're gonna feel Mercury. So when he goes like that, so we can have more issues with communications, more issues with in transportation and traffic, just because it's there.
You
It's heated,
shoot.
right? So it's
Uh,
more. So that's why
I
I would
agree.
maybe Monday can be a little bit challenging on that side.
Ugh.
But
I'm concerned
but
about travel and stuff. Okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
let's have the weekend as two best days are weekends. Okay,
Okay.
let's
Good.
have a weekend as two best days, and all the others are
Good.
good.
Oh,
And the
great.
next week we're gonna talk about the full moon that's gonna be next Saturday in
Oh,
Libra.
full
And
moon in Libra on the 12th. Is that it? Is that
yes, and that day Venus stations direct. So Venus is gonna be on top of the candle. You're
Yeah.
gonna
So
feel
okay.
Venus, right?
So Venus.
So
Okay. Ah, I
that
like that candle thing. Thank you. I love those visuals. Those
yes,
metaphors.
me too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. I
That
always
helps me
remember that,
get. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we have the party one, and we have
Yeah.
the candle one, and we
I
now
love,
know
I
the
love the
energies.
invitations. Yeah, I got to get my
Yes.
invitations together and stuff and send out. Yeah, and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Oh, before we leave, if you allow me, I'm gonna use this space to say something that is now official, and I'm so
yes,
excited about.
yes,
I was invited to do a lecture
right.
for ISAR.
For
For
Isa.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. Look at me. I'm really. I never did a lecture for any organization. This is my first time, so it's very. I'm very excited.
And now, what does
So
ISA stand for? Tell us about ISA.
yeah. So ISAR stands for International Society for Astrological Research. They're an international organization. They have um, lectures and support for astrologers, for whoever it's astrology enthusiasts and students in many languages, like many. So you have lectures in Spanish, Greek, this, that, I don't even know,
And what are you
Portuguese.
lecturing on?
So they were so nice. They said, you can do whatever you're passionate about. So I gave it some thought, and my lecture is going to be the art of strategic thinking. Mercury meets Pallas Athena.
Oh, very good. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to talk about combinations of Mercury and Pallas in charts. I'm going to have a lot of examples to showcase, and I hope people. I will make people think about how they can combine those two energies in their own charts. That's my intention, to kind of start people to think about it. Interesting thing is Pallas and Mercury, don't have a mythological story. Like if you there's no story, there's no connection, like there's nothing specific about them. So people usually don't put them together.
No,
But
they're not typically put
they're both
together.
they're all both about uh, 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 thinking process and strategic, and how we do things, and how we think, and how we put this in the world, and how we use that our intelligence. But Pallas is more than that. Anyway, you can sign up for it. If you're an ISAR member, it's free for you. If you're not, you can sign up on their page. It's going to be on June 15th, so we still have time. June 15th.
Oh, good. Okay. And so if so we can do this via Zoom.
So it's going to be there. You have to register.
Okay,
Yes, via Zoom. It's going to be online. It's going to be online. Yes.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
So,
It's a
okay,
workshop,
good.
online workshop. Yeah. I'm not
Okay, good. So you know what I mean. When you get a flyer, make sure so I can put it on here too. Let people know so they can.
Yeah. I think they're going to do it, so I'm going to reshare it. But it's
Please
on their
do.
page. For
Please
now,
do.
it's just on their their page.
That's fine. But yeah, we could redirect people to that. Very good.
Yeah. So that's my big happy announcement. I'm really
Congratulations! Excellent stuff. Very good.
I'm excited. Very excited. So I've been researching, and I wanna give a shout out to my friend Jo. Although my birthday is in 2 months, she found this book and she said, when I saw this, I thought you would like it. So she gave me an early birthday present. Look at that. The Astrology of Bond, James Bond. This is the astrology of James Bond, the author, the actors, the producers, and there's some astrology.
Wow.
And
I love James Bond. I love the whole James Bond series because I was actually watching the whole thing. I mean, I would watch it. My mother and I were James Bond big fans, but the Sean Connery James Bond, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I like Pierce Brosnan, and I always liked him. I don't know, but I mean, I look at his chart here. No, but I look at his chart here. There's so many connections with my chart.
No wonder. That's why you liked him then. Okay,
no wonder.
Yes.
It's so interesting.
No, as I went through the ages, there's different ones I would watch and see how they were different, and to be, where some people like I find that people either like James Bond or they don't. It's one of those either or. It's like people go, you like James Bond, or they're like,
But this is so. If you like it, it's a great book. It's for astrology nerds. So many things here.
Astrology nerds, yes. And James Bond nerds, too.
But I didn't know that James Bond actually got the name from this famous. How do you call the person who is learning about birds? How do you call them?
That? Ornithologist.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So Ian Fleming, the author of James Bond, was fascinated with bird watching, and he met this guy in the U.S. who was some kind of professor, and his name was James Bond. That's how this.
I like that. I like that. Yes.
And there is some astrology story in there. I didn't read it yet, but it's so interesting. Anyway, just for like a little side note.
So, that's great. So, but okay. So, you know what? Next Friday, I may not be available. I got to let you know. I'll let you know before by Wednesday. I may not be able to do next Friday. So I'm not sure yet. So,
That's fine. That's fine, right. Guys. If you, I did a full moon video on my YouTube. If you need more full moon stuff. Information.
Yeah, I may be able to. I'm just not sure. Something's up in the air. So, but I'll know by Wednesday for sure.
If you want to do it earlier or something, or if you want to, we can do. I think I'm free afternoon. So by noon, I'm not free, but after noon, I can.
On Friday?
Yes, we can do it maybe earlier if you can.
That may work. I gotta see what time my engagement is.
Yes.
Okay. All
so
right.
that's a possibility as well, because I want to be working on my lecture anyway.
So. Your lecture, that's right.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, JeMaja.
Bye, sweetie. Everyone have a great week.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll tell us how it went. I want to know the feedback. Was this a good week? Tell me next week. Was this a good one?
That's very good. Okay. All right, Jasmine. Bye. We'll talk soon.